three. Welcome back, everybody, to session 10 of a Sha'ir's poem. We last left our party at the gates of the fantastic city of Yitambrethal. Some great many weird and wonderful things have befallen our travelers. They had been not necessarily accosted by the guards there, but they had been taken in for questioning by the city official. They had been given clothes because when they arrived at the city walls, they were devoid of such things. They had been given meager lodging and essentially given a writ of a single chain's worth of time to either find permanent housing, permanent work, or to leave the city. You had been informed that you lot had been you'd been bound for a city known as Ra, that you found out that Yitambrethal is currently at war with those native people of Arklanar. But the native people of Yitambrethal, it's strange to say this sort of thing because they're not like other mortal men and women that you know of. They're strange, possibly extraterrestrial in some form and fashion, maybe culturally or otherwise. The marketplace here on this day, on the third day of your stay here, giving you 7 additional days to explore or possibly to leave the city. What have you two been up to for the last 72 hours here?
I guess I'll go first then. Yarrow probably would have spent the first chunk of a day just trying to get clean. Hey, I don't know if there's like public bathhouses or a place that he could have cleaned up to the best he could. Maybe even did some physical labor in exchange for a few coin, or even the chance to use a kit or even a knife to shave down his facial hair as it was beginning to get scraggly and long. But really, for him, the first thing was just getting clean. He feels like he has not been clean in chains. After that, and after he probably talked to a few people, got some menial labor lined up in exchange for just being able to survive. Um, he would probably get his hands on some apothecary items to maybe make a couple ointments, because unfortunately he's been without those forever too, and it kind of makes him feel, well, naked again. He knows they have a chain to basically either solidify their place here or to leave. So it's not quite a rushed mindset, but it's definitely not, I'm just going to be lazy until the last day either. I will say probably on the third day, starting on the third day, actually, let me back up. The second night into the third day, his sleep would start to get restless. And even when he's awake and walking through the market or trying to do what he needs to do, he is, anytime he has time to lean, he's looking off in the direction of Ra, as that Gaius scroll is starting to now pull at him more. Which, if he decides to ignore it, will probably lead to that incessant nagging in the back of his brain of, hey, we need to go. We got shit to do. But at the moment, it's not horrible, nor is it life altering. So he is able to still function to a degree. And for the most part, besides just doing a little bit of work to help out and trying to just get himself back on his feet, he would take time to learn about the people around here. Probably go see the crushing depths again, that shrine out there, or that temple rather. And he's really just trying to get back into a groove of quote unquote normalcy, not the back in civilization.
A rather fantastical civilization and a mixing pot of almost anything and everything you could possibly imagine. Um, Going to Shed Karoo, what has he been doing?
Shed has probably spent the majority of the 3 days hanging around the temple, talking to the priests and the people that come through, offering his services, and to maybe to some of um, the priests that don't have acolytes, maybe the lesser ones, to as he does have knowledge of different rituals, and fairly well educated person, running errands for them, things like that. Probably just for whatever food they're willing to give him and just information. In his estimation, the place to get information is the place where people go to worship. All kinds walk through there, so he's sort of getting a lay of. He's heard that this city is at war with Ra, which is he knows is where Yarrow has to go. So he's sort of filling out the information about that. If there are ships going to or from Ra or the direction of Ra, and in the evening, if he happens to make a few coppers here and there, he'll probably spend a bit of time in the taverns and, especially down by the docks, asking the occasional veiled questions about are there ships going to Ra that no one knows about? Kind of the feeling out if there is a community of smugglers in the area. Not pushing if someone says, "Well, what do you mean?" "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a foreigner. We are not accustomed to your traditions here. I do apologize. I did not mean to offend you, etc., etc."
Not
Uh,
from your country. It's nice though.
yes, yes, yeah, it's one of those deals.
Not to be
Basically,
funny, but no, I get you.
basically, his two goals in the next 3 days, information wise: one, what is the nature of this conflict, and two, how do we get to Ra, or at least as close as possible. So that is what he has been
Well,
spending his time doing.
the nature of the conflict between the two nations is, according to the Pharaoh in Ra, uh, Yitambrethal and its bastard mongrel people, to use his words, uh, bring too many bastard gods to his realm when their traders go there. And as you know, wait, Shade Kuru is a Yathite or is he Thoranean?
Oh, he's Yathite.
Oh, okay. Your picture there would make me assume that he's actually Thoranean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think of that. Okay.
Earth analogies for you. Yath are Egyptian. Turanians are Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Neighbors, but not similar.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, no. But as a Yath, you would understand that Yath like their own gods.
They do.
It's our gods or nobody's gods. Um, and they're, would you say that's religiously insular? That'd be a
Yeah.
term for that. Yeah, you could
Yes.
argue that. Maybe that's actually the right word I'm looking for. I was thinking about what would be the best. No, religiously they're very insular. They are open to trade, but uh the people of Yitambrethal are too strange. They have these silvery birds that make horrible noises in the sky, and one time one such bird came to a harbor and scared the absolute bejesus out of the people, and that didn't end well at all.
Yes. And we need as much bejesus in the people as we possibly can have.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
They must fear our gods and the pharaoh as opposed to anyone else. That's how we're trying to keep control of the people. And there seems to be a movement in and of the eighth community, where they're trying to separate and possibly go out to the islands. And in Arklanar's timeline, you'll have a cultural and genetic split between the mainland and the islander Yath, and this is kind of the beginning of that conflict there.
Okay.
And you'll come to know in your delving on the streets. He has streetwise, doesn't he? He's
Oh
a
yeah.
thief. Of course he has streetwise. Please do. I
Yes.
say thief because mechanically there's 4 different archetypes of thieves, not he's a thief by background.
Yes. Yes, he is a relocator of merchandise that may or may not belong to him.
Yes. Of course. This is going to be pretty easy for you to find out, so don't expect you to have a high roll.
Yeah, he's also pretty, so. Did I mention he has an allure of 4?
He does have an allure of 4. I have that written down.
So yeah. So shall I make a roll for streetwise, see how much I actually get or how far I get?
Please, I'm pretty sure you're going to roll high enough, but I want to know approximately.
It's a 16.
Oh yeah, no, you know everything. The people of Yitambrethal are not necessarily a tight-lipped people. They have nothing to hide. They're in their city, and foreigners can't. Well, good luck. You walk around the town, and it's like it would be a pain in the ass to try and besiege this place. They are dug in. Their walls are superb. The bricks fit together in such a way you could not fit a piece of parchment between the bricks. There is no line of mortar there. It seems like a sheer face. The doors have a post and lintel design. It is rumored that there is a sphinx that lives here to protect the city. Well, which is not unheard of, because allegedly there are 2 that live within the caves beyond Ra and in the foothills there. So there is a spiritual aspect to the protection here, and no one in the streets is armed except for the watch. And the watch is armed to the teeth, heavily armored in this silvery metallic metal that's it clads them head to toe: helmets, breastplates, greaves, shields, short swords, halberds, and such like, with emerald green plumage and capes. And according to your streetwise, the streets here are almost spotless. Yes, there are the telltale signs of thieves here, but either they're very professional and they don't slip up, or there isn't any. But as you know, someone who has run around in the criminal underworld before, there are thieves in every society. You simply just keep poking around.
Yeah. So he also thinks to himself, they're probably just very good because, we've heard tell of this place and from the mouths of a person who ran an underground. So obviously there must be something for him to do here.
Right.
So that's okay. So, well, is there any legitimate shipping going towards Raw? I guess is the next question.
Because the 2 nations are at war, direct travel between the 2 is strongly prohibited. And you've spoken to quite a few captains here, maybe like a dozen and a half captains here, and they say, yes, but not direct. They don't The captains that come out from Yitambrethal don't want to incur the wrath of obviously the king or the magistrate here. So
Obviously.
they don't want to be branded as possible spies or get involved because, well, their god is actually money.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, well, there are ways to get to Ra or damn close to it, but they try not to do direct, which
Okay.
which you'll find a lot of the tradesmen are like, well, there are nice things in Ra that we need, and we have to go around about now because we don't want to
Right.
get in trouble. Okay.
Yeah. I'm okay. So okay. Well, he it's a basically at that point he'll focus mostly on those captains that are sort of grumbling a bit, and just he won't push and say, "Hey, can I get a route on your ship?" He'll sort of listen to their grumblings and such, and if need be, add a little bit to it here and there, just to encourage them to talk more. So just to to try to figure out, I guess, which one would be the most likely to talk to. So
Well,
what kind of a role would that be to figure that out?
you're trying to get him to talk more.
No, just to figure out which one of them is that I can tell is possibly the most
Oh,
likely to be going the closest. So the one most likely to skirt the edge of the law if need be. So
uh let me see. Can I find you a not necessarily law-abiding citizen?
yeah, well, or one who's willing to sort of push the edge.
Yeah, someone who's willing to bend the rules, not necessarily break them.
Yes, right.
Uh, uh, well, uh, in I'll say on the evening of the third day, well,
Okay.
I will paint a scene for you, and you may explore this. However, are you together?
Um, Probably in that evening. I would try to find Yarrow in the evening. Yes.
I would
Okay.
assume wherever we're staying at is, if not the same building, at least within walking distance.
Yeah.
Okay. So for this particular scene, will you guys be physically together?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can make a two-part scene if you guys really want
Nah.
to. Okay. All right.
The way I see it, Shed is off doing whatever he's doing. Yarrow is probably trying to get just making money doing jobs, and then they basically meet for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wine
You
at
know,
the corner bistro essentially is what we're basically
effectively. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
evening. Oh, how was it today? Okay. All right. Perfect. Set the scene. You guys are at basically what equates to a Bronze Age cafe, kind of like a beer garden type thing. Um, there's, you know what? Here, actually, let's have some weather. Let's actually, it's clear sky here tonight. There is a it will say it's about 2.5 hours after dusk. So we're in where it's well into the evening, and this particular tavern is hopping. They are full. You guys are probably sitting next to each other, and you are sharing a table with four other individuals. A mixed mixed race, mixed species, mixed culture. Here there are cave nymphs that you can come to understand here. There are fae of different kinds here. Uh, there are mortals here. Um, One such individual might possibly uh, find you kind of looking at patches of their scales on their person. This bipedal thing that possibly was born partially amphibious on a distant world. Uh, there are tribesmen from a distant world known to you as Tulun. You've not heard of such a place, but these people are quite beautiful, and their skin is as golden as saffron rice. You're sitting at the table with another such an artisan, a cave nymph artisan with their blue-gray skin and their black hair. This individual, a male, has his hair cropped short for what seems like martial advantage. But is what longer portions of his hair is tied back into basically a high knotted haggy that hangs at the top back of his hair, almost like a scalp lock, if you will. He's a stone cutter here, and he has some artisanal stone masonry tattoos down the left of his arm that goes to his elbow, so you understand he's pretty well skilled, and he's been a regular at this tavern for the past like 2 days. You found him here, and you guys kind of starting to grow a simple rapport there. uh uh he he introduced himself yesterday evening as Nara, Nara. He has a vice for red wine and cards. He's a really bad gambler. He has a problem, and he knows people. The nose touching kind of people. Because Shed mentioned he was looking for some capital. I don't sail. Nara is actually thalassophobic. He hates sailing on ships. How he got to Yitambrethal was actually on board one of these silvery flying birds that some of these tribesmen come and go from. But you are meeting another individual that is a captain or an associate of other sailors here and travelers that hopefully this evening will bear quite fruitful for your meeting.
Me and Nara are probably playing a game of cards like as we're chatting too.
And more than likely, you're probably robbing him because he's not very good at cards.
Well, this is the thing. Yarrow, like the first night that we met and he learned that Nara wanted to play cards, Yarrow probably would have cleaned him out. Just because he doesn't know this guy. The guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like he probably cleaned him out. The second day, it probably wouldn't even be betting half the time. Or it'd be like, here's a 10 piece, here's a single piece. But it's more just something to conversate over and to get him to loosen up.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, so he after the first few terrible hands, he'll say, "Oh, the gods have taken all of my joss. And where is this damn friend of ours?" He looks at Shed. He's normally never late.
Hopefully, it isn't a bad sign. Here's sometimes being late. Fortune is always late, so maybe he's gotten some good fortune he's bringing with him. We could definitely use that.
All of us, really. And he just drops his hand on the table, and you see the terrible cards that he has. He goes, "I'm done. I haven't a halfpenny on me anymore. I'll be lucky if I'll be able to eat meat this week."
Yarrow will order him another mug of wine, glass of wine. Compensation prize for him losing so often.
You come to find out that he really likes cards, but he's fucking terrible at it. And maybe or not he likes the thrill of gambling, and he's just really bad at it, which hopefully he'll learn his lesson here soon. But
We can only hope.
this contact that Nara has arranged for you finally shows up. An individual of interesting origin here. He is bronze-skinned. He is much paler than Shed Karu is by contrast, but he's certainly not Caucasian. That's probably sun exposure. He carries a saber on his hip, seeming of that same silvery metal that after asking around Shed, the watch here is actually clad in the substance known as Fey-iron. Never seen it before, but it's gorgeous to look upon. No. However, rumors have it that say that the magistrate of Yitambrethal actually wields a broadsword made of orichalcum. But well, you probably would have heard of orichalcum, probably only seen it once. Okay. Well, actually, a previous character actually saw this one. Actually, never mind. Player and character knowledge. Right.
But that merchant was probably known by Shed, so Shed might have still heard or seen it before.
It's possible.
Perka? Yeah, no, no, never mind. You actually have met Anker Perka one time, and rumors say that he's actually indeed a half Jinn. I think possibly his mother or his great-grandmother was a Jinn of some kind. Which a lot of the tribe's people on the mainland are fucking terrified of him because of it. But no, this individual, fair-skinned, though tinted by the sun, wearing kind of he's wearing an undyed, kind of like a workman's, like an artisan's tunic that has tore off sleeves. He has the artisanal tattoos, high leather boots that go up to his knees, brown leather breeches, comes down the stairs. Apparently he was actually upstairs. He greets Nara, introduces himself as Thalen, and sits down across the table from you. And he looks at the cards on the table, and he smiles. He goes, has he robbed you again? To Nara, and yeah, of course he does.
As like the fresh goblet for Nara probably shows up right now.
And he turns to you two, Thalen, and says, I understand that the two of you need to travel to Ra?
The vicinity thereof. We have important business, I believe. I look at Yarrow. In Ra, correct?
Who actually, like, which way is the Gaius pulling him? Is it still at Ra, or has it moved?
It's in that direction, yeah.
Yes, or at least close approximation.
Yes. And I can assure you that our business is legitimate. We are by no means smugglers. I'll sort of turn my nose up just a hair as I say it.
That's a deception test, Keith. Come on now.
Of course, a deception test. It's a 19.
Oh, all right. That is a very convincing lie. So, no, Thalen, but this swordsman is very well-armed swordsman, in fact. He looks at you two over and says, he just shrugs and says, I wasn't assuming either of
Well,
you were smugglers or pirates, but I thank you.
well,
Uh,
my thought is it must be said as the city here is currently at war with Ra, and I did not want anyone to get the wrong idea about us at the very onset.
well, if you are simply travelers trying to get home, it's quite obvious that
Yes, very much.
neither of you are natives here.
Most definitely not. Yes, my friend Yarrow here does need to get home. As yes, as soon as possible. He has some very important business that direction. So some might even say that it's like he's being pulled in that direction intently.
Is there a woman that you need to return to?
I'll look at Yarrow.
That sounds like an insistent pulling to me.
Or maybe I'll find one when I get there at least. No, it's a longing to get back in that direction would be the best way to put it.
Fair enough. There are people that I know. I am currently not sailing. I actually have work here within the city that I could introduce you to. Do you have money?
I'll look at Yarrow. Just a small amount. Unfortunately, we fell upon an unfortunate business on our way here. There
How
were
much
witches and such involved.
how much has Yara been able to accumulate over the last 72 hours?
We'll say about 17 silver is what's lining your pocket currently. Some of that notwithstanding the money that you've taken from Nara.
So yeah, not very much, unfortunately.
Well,
Is there any work that needs to be done that I can do labor in exchange for the voyage?
I don't believe that either of you would be qualified to man such a vessel, where you would be human cargo at this point, I feel.
I have been told I'm quite entertaining if there happens to be a need for that. I'm not sure how long the voyage is, but I do know at times sailors get restless and well, sometimes a good song or tale will calm their nerves. I'm quite good at that.
Um, are you before I give you too much information, he smiles. Would you prefer to sail or fly?
I've never flown before.
Good question. You think higher or low? Okay. Yeah. It matters not to me, though. I have never flown. I wouldn't know. He looks up at the sky. I wouldn't know how that would be done, but I see it is done. So some magic, I would assume.
Yes, yes. Yeah, player knowledge you can probably see is about to give you like the college lecture on how aviation works, but he stops.
Science. The hell is that? Never mind.
Exactly.
It's magic.
It's
Right.
some weird magic, yes.
It begins to describe the basics of this sorcery or witchcraft called mechanics. But well, some of the our golden skinned tradesmen here have the ability to do such things. They're actually quite skilled at it. They won't take you direct because they won't go to Raw like last time. I was actually on that ship when we went. It was absolutely dreadful.
Yara, what happened last time?
2 women died of fright when the ship showed up. set a big silvery dragon roaring in the skies above the city, and was belching fire and such. Like, we didn't even bring our guns into play. Come on now. And you're just like, what the hell are guns? Never mind. Never mind.
It is quite impressive, and I'm not sure what this gun thing you speak of is, but I mean, I assume they're very frightening when you use them, whatever they happen to be. But I was very impressed with it when I saw it flying over the city when we first arrived. In fact, I was so impressed my clothes just vanished. I'm not sure how. You can ask the guards at the gate. It was a horrifying experience.
Your clothes vanished.
Yes.
Uh,
I don't know how. As I said, this magic must have odd side effects. I don't know. So I know nothing of that magic.
Well, I'm certain that the captain and his sister might be quite pleased to have additional coin come into their hands.
And I do very much assure you my clothes will not vanish again, especially in the presence of the captain's daughter?
Sister.
Sister, yes, most definitely not. Most definitely not. And man of honor.
They are, well, it all depends. I'm just a sailor and someone who works with them on an occasion when they come to Arkvanar. But
well, could we persuade you possibly to
I can make you an introduction.
Introduction, yes. Yeah, facilitate an introduction. It'll be very kind of you, good sir. Very good, kind of you. You already should buy the man of bed some wine.
Yeah, y'all will probably take his latest women's from Nara to get another glass of wine.
Of course. Don't spend it all because you need that money to get the hell out of here.
We got a couple more days. It's okay.
How long do you spend here this evening? If it's about 10 o'clock in the evening.
I mean, depends on very much how early we need to be up for our duties the next morning. I'm sure sunrise, they do have some kind of some gods require worship at sunrise, so Shed's probably expected to be back at the temple at that time. So if he's going to continue doing his duties there, that is.
And so. Shed is he said he was a polytheist?
Yes, he's a polytheist. So he helps whoever needs help.
Okay.
You know, whoever offers a crust of bread, a bit of wine, or a few coppers, he'll help them, you know, gather their things or fetch things at the market for them, things of that nature. You know.
Oh, the priests here at the the temple of many gods, the pantheon of Yitambrethal, I actually eat very well. You were
the scraps are good.
You were served turtle stew yesterday morning.
Yes, definitely we get back there for breakfast, so he probably wouldn't stay too late.
We don't have some guy with claws on his hands, does he? Saying he's going to dine on turtle soup tonight.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes. But I suppose the revelry might go on maybe a few more hours. They have a dancer girl, some foreign fair-skinned thing belly dancing in the corner, and a couple of minstrels. One of them forgets he's playing a drum during her set, and because of course he does, look at her. But excuse me, the tavern clears out somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning, should you guys stay late, and Nara stumbles home to his abode to sleep off the rest of his wine and to wake up at dawn to do his stonemasonry.
Get me some more money.
Get you some more money. Yes. Nara is a nice chap, but he's terrible at cards and he's excellent company, so it balances out.
Right. Everyone wins somehow.
And this individual, Thalen, dismisses himself that evening for his lodging, and you are you both are requested tomorrow morning, just before midday sun, to meet Thalen at the Green Dock, the Green Pier, to meet with the officers of the Zavarian. Possibly some strange name, possibly for the vessel. We don't so speak, but specifically the ship known as the Zavarian sticks out to you. If we have a brief pause here for that night's soliloquies, you may go for it. Shed, take us away.
So as Shed beds down in what little he has, which is very, very little, probably wraps himself in a ratty little blanket that someone may have gifted to him at the temple there, lays his head upon a stone, as that is what he has at the moment. He looks up at the skies at the beautiful, clear night, has the stars above, wondering.
Let me pause you here, guys. You guys would have been given like temporary housing by the state, by the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that was part of you. They're putting you up for a chain.
Okay, I did not realize that.
I apologize. Okay. I may or may not have brushed over it. You guys do have rooms.
So rooms. Then he will be laying down in his room on his government issue cot under his government issue blanket.
It's a bed and a pillow and blankets. I see how you are.
With you. So yes, right. He's laying there looking out of this window of this room that he has at the stars above, and wonders at himself, what if every one of those twinkling lights, which he has been told various tales of, that those are the souls of the dead, the ancestors looking down, that those are the 1,000 demons of the of the night's single eyes gazing from the darkness from beyond, that is actually the campfires of the Fae. All kinds of stories that he's been told what these things are. And he thinks to himself, based on the stories he's been hearing the last couple of days, what if every single one of them is a world? What if that is the reflection of sunlight off of a sea twinkling up in the sky? He's seen that and saw how bright it is, and he's seen the moonlight reflecting off of it at night and how it lights up an entire beach. What if all of those twinklings are the reason why they twinkle is that it's reflected light off of the sea on the surface of a world somewhere? And he feels himself being very small in this great, vast possible sphere that he finds himself on the perched upon the edge of. And he winds up falling asleep, actually having slight nightmares of clinging to a wall and trying not to slide down it. But he is, for the first time, actually has a bit of, or last few days at least, has a bit of hope that maybe tomorrow things are going to be actually getting on track with this thing. Maybe he can get Yarrow somewhere where he can turn that scroll into for some kind of money, and they can settle down and actually start an actual business and not be jerked from place to place following crazy old women into the water, or trying to convince a gate guard that the reason that they're nude is 100% explainable. Just a regular day to be able to walk out, open a stall, sell some fruit, or whatever he happens to be able to sell at the stall somewhere in some wonderful little town far, far away. Hopefully not perched up on the side of a wall.
Take us away, Yarrow.
Yarrow would go home. He would have had a little pot with his poultice mixture, because he was probably setting some bandages to soak. He's not needed as a healer around here, but he does know they're going to be leaving soon, and it's a time-consuming process, so I'm getting the jump on it now. He's excited for this next step. As the night would have went on, and they left the inn that night, he probably would have been. I don't really want to say he wasn't like unable to be reached, but if someone wasn't talking to him, he kind of started to gaze and to daydream. Um, and as he's going back to their housing, he is like constantly looking in the direction of Ra, in the direction of wherever this scroll is pointing him towards. That pull is getting stronger, and in the back of his head, it's kind of starting to worry him now, because this is something outside of his control. Um, and of course, the only thing he has to go off of was this great big wizard cast this spell, and everything went to hell, and now he's being pulled by some unknown force. Um, so it's got him slightly worried, but he'll go home, and he's going to try to rest up the best he can, uh, to meet these people on the morrow. Um, he's not really worried about the work side of things. He's been put the menial work and whatnot long enough that that part doesn't bug him. Um, but I would say, depending on how narrator wants to run this, Morpheus is probably going to start to plague him. I would say, I don't really know if they would be considered nightmares or just glimpses, but I imagine he would be starting to see half-formed faces that look more snake-like than human.
A
Maybe he
lot of
sees
snakes, a lot of
maybe
scales.
maybe he sees a garden of statues. Um, I imagine he probably would have seen the burning, aftermath of that fight that started this whole thing at one point. He might even see the dead girl, but it's all like bits and pieces, like you're looking through murky water that's constantly rippling. Like you think it's there, but it's not. Maybe it's not, but it is. Um, and I don't think quite yet it would actually disrupt his sleep to the point he cannot function tomorrow, but it would definitely have him shaken up and probably waking up a time or two in like a cold sweat, probably right before something would hit him, like the point of view as he's seeing this dream. Maybe he's seeing it through, uh, Ben's eyes for some of that. And, before he gets sliced down, Yara would wake up like, oh crap. Okay, I'm still in my bed. And then promptly go back to bed. Um, yeah, that's how I see his night going anyway.
The visage of that dead girl that had the top portion of her skull actually cut off and some of her brains leaking out into the sand. That image right there fucks with you. And of all of the serpentine and Ophidian themes of this montage of dreams, it's those serpent eyes in the little girl's head that, and she has the eyes of like the slitted eyes of a snake, and they're just staring at you like a dead person, like with their eyelids still open, and that really eats you. Yeah, it's a little girl, and but it is an otherworldly, dare we say, a monstrous little girl from our point of view. From their point of view, clearly she was a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, sweet thing, and her life was cut terribly short. That next morning, those snake things are pulling at you more and more, and you feel a wave of disapproval, and the pull even stronger. The pull is so strong, you'll have a -4 penalty to all of your skills until this Gaius is completed, and something saps you. roll me a D8. Just a D8. This does not explode. If it did explode, that'd be horrible.
It's a 6.
Reduce your total vitality points by 6. It's that morning's montage. Your morning ablutions are a faceless blur. The next thing you know, you're walking up the steps of the pantheon of Yitambrethal. And I'm sorry, Shed, but evidently this is the day that the temple has church, and you have been claimed by roll me a d8. I will find you a god.
Does this one explode? Because there's lots of gods.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
okay.
You're
So
gonna need
8.
to. You rolled an 8.
And a 2, so a total of 10.
We got on the. Oh, what fucking holiday the great goddess Carnage celebrates on this day? We have no idea, but everyone is wearing red. Red is the new fashionable color, and one of the priestesses who is not wearing anything, because the female priestesses these priests don't wear anything on holidays. They just wear a sash, an undyed linen sash that's like dipped in like sheep's blood. So it's got kind of like that bleed, and there's fucking blood everywhere. And the other gods, like, you're making a mess. The other priests, don't get it on us. Everyone's very peaceful. Everyone's very nice. Keep your blood over there. And apparently they're celebrating some battle, some prehistoric battle somewhere else. And one of the priestesses, who has the perkiest boobs you've ever seen. I mean,
and I know
good,
a few.
Good grief, girl! And you showed up before dawn because you are a diligent temple worker, and she threw a robe at you. She just threw it, and it's got sheep's blood on it. She's put this on. You're helping us today. And you don't
yes,
have a
ma'am.
choice. Yeah, and you're there blessing people, dipping your hands in some blood and putting your palm on people's foreheads because this is what these people do. Yeah, right. And so think mess, all right?
Yes.
And just, okay, fine. There are chanting, there are sutras, there's meditation, and when the blood on your robe, I say robe, it's more or less a really bloody toga.
Toga, yeah.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, because you're supposed to be naked, you're not wearing anything under it, so it's sticking to you.
It's still better than having my clothes under it. Those are in a nice little bundle off to the side, away from the blood.
Yeah, right. God, damn it all. So you're doing your thing. You've been doing this thing since before the sun came up. And we come to Yarrow. Just here's on stage. We pan to the off side of the stage, and Yarrow is just dragging ass up the fucking steps. Oh, you almost bump into somebody. Put your hand. Excuse me. You're getting up there, and you hear this. Son of a bitch! You're standing in a pool of blood, and you have the moments of who the fuck got killed here, because there's a lot of blood.
Do I see viscera too?
Sure.
Okay, good. Because that's gonna go immediately with what his first thought would be. First thing that goes in his head is he steps in this blood. And I'll probably see like some fucking gray matter float by. First thing is fucking head that pops in is those fucking little girl's eyes.
Uh-huh. Make me a corruption test. That is a spirit level,
Oh,
spirit plus level
that was a
die.
that was a 7 and an 8. I almost crit that one.
Maybe.
One thing. It'll be a 32.
Yes. The horror rose in your heart. The cold terror swept from your testicles to the top of your head for a few moments. And then you're like, all right, I'm here. I'm actually awake. You're able to bend over and touch the stones of the steps there and ground yourself. No, I'm awake. I'm fine.
There's no
And
little girl's body anywhere. Like
it was that terror that came up and you forced it back down by grounding yourself. A shiver kind of still rocks you there for a bit. You're pretty fine. I'm good. The sun is actually out today. It's partially cloudy. The clouds are actually quite beautiful. Those silvery birds and the airships have been coming to and fro for much of that morning since you left the house or left your tenement, the foreigners' tenement. Strange question. Why did they not put you up in the same dormitory? You and Shed, whatever, politics, paperwork, whatever. You a lot of people are wearing red today, and there's a lot of blood everywhere. And the post and lintel doorway, the really tall one, the main doors of the temple, there's a few people in these bloody robes or togas. None of the women are wearing clothes except for that bloody sash, and of course, they're painting blood on things, and that you hear the sutras coming through the door. Shed is somewhere within doing something, trying to not to get in the way.
Yeah, Yarrow is probably gonna go in like half a daze. Maybe a little bit more clear now he had to ground himself. Blood will kind of sober anybody up. Yeah, he'll try to find Shed and try to avoid being completely encompassed in blood.
Since you're walking through there in a daze, and since just the masses of people go through, Shed, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to anybody at all. She's like, oh god damn, but it's just alcohol, the smell of irony, blood, and the cacophonous sounds of voices, and Yarrow, you get a face full of blood. Face full of bloody hand.
Carnage bless
Splat.
you. Yarrow?
He grabs like the blood that comes off his face and his hand is kind of like dripping there. He almost flicks it down. He's like,
shake my head.
Just go put that right
Carnage
there.
bless you. I probably have like a big like a bowl staying next to you on a stand that's got blood.
Yeah. Either you're holding it or it's right there next to you.
Yeah.
Like a basin, just
get a little basin of it. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, you look horrible. Too much wine last night?
Too much blood in my dreams.
Oh, here. Come to the side, my friend. Come to the side, and I'll motion off to the right-hand side.
Somebody behind you, Shed, yells at you. Keep the line moving, Shed.
Of course. Bring it to the side. Carnage bless you. go to the next. So, I'll bring you here this morning. Tap, tap, tap. Smack. Carnage, bless you.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
not.
no, that's pretty much how we go. Like in between
Continue.
him blessing, you get a couple
Yeah.
words, and
Yeah.
Yarrow, he'll of course he's gonna talk between pauses, like we just said. I didn't even realize I was coming here at first.
Carnage, bless you. Smack. Okay, well,
I thought I was going to the docks for work for a couple hours, but I was here.
that's odd. That smack. Carnage, bless you. Did you come here for the gods? I mean, you never shook me as a religious person. Carnage, bless you.
I am a little bit, but no, I've just ever since I woke up, I've been in a daze all day, and he's going like stage whisper. He's like, and this bloody scroll.
Carnage, bless you. Yeah, I know. Is it
Not
causing you trouble?
me alone.
I'll be done with this here fairly soon. Carnage, bless you. We should have a break here back for a meal here very shortly, and we'll go down to the dock where we're supposed to be. Carnage, bless you.
This will go on for another hour, and then somebody takes the bowl from you.
Thank you.
Yarrow,
smack myself
Yarrow
in the face. Carnage, bless you. I just, to end it properly,
Yeah, all right.
right.
You gotta sign yourself out.
Basically,
right.
Yeah.
Yarrow would after him and Shed spoke. Yarrow would have went over to the crushing depths and gave thanks to the great whale, the great red whale,
the great red whale. Some of the Carnage clergy has donated some of their blood to paint the whale statue red, so it's a great red whale.
Yeah,
and the priests of the crushing depths are much cleaner about it. They're not getting blood everywhere.
Right.
And before Shed is allowed to leave, he's gotta cleanse himself. They bring him off to a somewhat curtained off area, so it's private. And his you gotta wash your feet in some aromatic olive oil with flower petals in it, and you wash your feet, wash your hands, wash your face, kind of thing, and then you're allowed to leave. Incense, smoke, and mirrors, the whole nine, and then you leave. You're dismissed from from the temple for that day, and the High Priest of Carnage, a heavily scarred individual from foreign lands, gives you a piece of gold coinage for your services for this high holiday, and they thank you for your service.
Well, I thank them very much for their service as well, and wish them the blessing of Carnage. May the blood flow, and he'll take him and Yarrow out. That might be enough for passage. You never know. Oh.
Or a very nice evening out to eat.
Or at least one or the other. Yeah, he's going to make sure that's well hidden. So he'll put it in his little purse and make sure it's on the inside of his pants. He's not going to let that thing be out there where anybody can see it.
No. You can keep the toga though.
Yeah, it's probably completely black with blood. Oh. Never know. It could be useful. I guess we'll take that with it too. So yeah, we'll head out and we'll see if we can find ours. Are they serving food here, like grilled meats possibly, or something like that? Something we can grab a quick meal before we take off?
I don't suppose why not. It's about almost mid-morning now, so yeah, no, many of the priests will be eating at this point.
Okay, yeah. Grab a quick whatever they're giving and make sure Yarrow gets a bit and head out of the temple. So, looking up and down, you do actually look really horrible, my friend. So, Shed will actually give him half of his food because he looks so bad. So, But we do need to get down to the Green Dock. I know that much. They said, what was it, midday? We're supposed to be there.
Yeah, just after midday.
Yeah, it's after midday. It's about that time now, isn't it?
It's about mid-morning.
Oh, okay. So we got a little bit of time. Well, do you want to go scout the place out? Maybe gather our stuff from our that we may have collected back at the hostel we're staying in, I suppose.
Uh, you said that Yarrow kind of looked down at the bloody feet and his shirt and be like, yeah, I need to clean up anyway.
Okay.
Maybe it'll wake me up.
Yeah. Go back there just for a bit to gather what little belongings we possibly have brought together. And maybe the blanket. I like the blanket now because it's nice and scratchy. It reminds me of home, sand.
Right.
So
Army surplus wool blankets.
So yeah, get that what little bit we've got. It also allows us to sort of make a little bundle. Wash up a bit. I'm sure I'll probably walking down the street like a thumbprint right there on my cheek. Where I did my own face. And I didn't quite get that part there. Is it is it just like a regular day outside of beyond that? Any, does it seem different because there's like a festival going on for Carnage or anything? Or is that just in the
it's kind of oh yeah, no, it's a small-ish festival. It's not citywide. It's mostly contained to these several blocks around the temple. So the temple quarter, we'll say, of the city, it's a good portion. You can go around it if you want to get away from it, but the energy of the city is pretty festive, pretty high energy, pretty happy at this point.
Okay.
Amazingly, the people here are very accepting of other religions here. Perhaps that's because quite a few religions are practiced here.
I can see that. So, okay. I've got a feeling that Yarrow's not in the mood for a celebration. So, yeah, we'll make our way back to our hostel, as I said, and I'll get my stuff and then I'll help him get together his stuff too. Help him get cleaned up. So, can I do an apothecary check on him to see if I can figure out if there's anything I can possibly do to help him?
I think because you're a magician,
mm-hmm.
you would see that it is not a temporal illness.
Okay, so I can tell it's something magical going on. Okay.
See, there is something ensorceling him.
Okay, he is ensorcelled. Gotcha. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Probably
but your head is in the right spot.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll help him gather his things and say, well, I think we need to be on our way as soon as we possibly can. I think this thing is. I sort of motion towards the scroll. Might be like feeding on your life or something. I don't. It's some of these things. It's not my kind of practice, but I think it may be doing that. I don't know. Some of these things can be very vicious. So
Yar just kind of like half nods. He's
yeah, just out of it. Okay. Is it during that time, by the way, have I gained any like little bits of copper, like a handful of copper pieces, maybe, or maybe in a silver, doing this kind of stuff with these priests?
About 7 silver total.
Oh, okay. I'll do they have
technically you're volunteering your time, but technically they're also
donations
for
yeah, donations here and there. I'm sure we get a little bit of that.
This would technically be like alms for the poor, and you would definitely like
that's the thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
You here they have a little bit because you're poor. Is there anything in this culture any kind of a drink or an herb they sell that workers use to sort of aid in their energy? Like they have included coca leaves or coffee or
Looking for an
maybe
energy shot, basically.
basically something I can get him to maybe give him a little bit of pep, maybe help him a little bit.
I don't think you'd know.
Yeah. Oh,
Make me a streetwise test.
okay.
We'll see.
That's a 15.
I would say no.
Okay. Oh well.
Good question, though.
It was it was a thought. He's thinking of the things he's remembered from growing up, and he's not seeing any. Okay, all right. Well, I guess we need to get you down to the docks as soon as we possibly can. So maybe get you some good rest. So,
So
um,
we reconvene at the docks at the green dock, which the boards of this dock are indeed painted green. It's actually color coded down here. There's the red dock, there's the yellow dock, there's the green dock. And
dock.
Yeah, there's the moon dock. That's the very last one.
Yes.
The ship, these things, these strange people call ships, is shaped like a dragonfly with two bodies. It also has four, it's like two sets of wings similar to a dragonfly, but these things go up like a sail, like a sailing ship's vessel. There's two bodies for vessels for sails, similar in the fashion to a lateen sail on like a brig of some kind. She looks fast, and she's actually bobbing there in the water the way a ship is supposed to. That's about as normal as this thing looks, because everything else looks absolutely foreign and hideous.
Is there an actual like a deck we can see?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Polished wood boards.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Dirk Struan would hate it because it's a steamer. Sorry, okay. I'm also reading Taipan right now, and I got to the point in the book where the steamer shows up in the Orient, and he goes on for 3 pages.
Okay, I'll make sure Yarrow has plenty of water. So,
you can stop at a well. Your green enameled leather I suppose your water bladders there, a government issue, of course. You can fill those up at a public well. You stand there at the dock with your baggage, meager baggage.
Yeah, a couple of blankets with our meager belongings in them.
Of course.
Government issue, of course.
Of course, absolutely. You guys are looking very official.
Excellent.
But minus weapons, which is probably the one thing that you'd love to have right now. And you'll notice that comes down the gangplank of this strange sailing thing, a saffron-skinned beauty, clad in a flowing a teal green gown that more reveals and accents her form, instead of essentially showing it off. Really, her rich blue-black hair piled high in a curling coiffure, but out the back, it kind of spools forth in what would kind of assume to be a ponytail of some kind that's held uh, with gold and jade hairpins. Uh, Attached to her belt is a dagger on one hip, uh, fashioned after a strange pattern, a swept uh, blade there, and what clinks against it is another device that seems like half bent and has a wooden grip of some kind and kind of counterpoint to the swing of her hips, kind of clinks back and forth there. In her hair is a purple lotus. She is magnificently beautiful, and she is accompanied by an additional six men of what you seem we do assume her species would be, and uh, another man comes down the gangplank and actually up from behind them jogs. You can hear him call to them, and she turns, she smiles to him, and he jogs up next to her. You can't tell if he's older or younger than her, but he walks next to her, um, somewhat close. Maybe there's a little bit of a familiarity there to her, but between the two of them. But you cannot take your eyes off of this woman. She's the most magnificently beautiful thing you have ever seen. Uh, uh, she looks like a golden colored statue there. That's tinted bronze by quite a bit of sunlight, and her troop, and her male companion there stop at a respectful a distance to the two of you. Uh, and you hadn't noticed, but Thalen has actually walked up behind you, and he bids you two good morning.
Good morning, Dylan, or afternoon, or whatever it happens to be. So,
It's actually midday sun. Good afternoon.
yes. I assume these are the people you were to introduce us to?
Yes,
And
actually, uh this is the captain and his sister. They are the crew of the Zavarian here.
mhm,
Uh, uh, Her name, he will actually step forward and actually introduce. This is Shed Karu of Ra, and this is Yarrow Vaslu. And she kind of shoots like a side eye at Yarrow. He goes, I actually don't know where Yarrow is from. He's clearly mixed like the rest of us mutts. But he will bow slightly to the lady. This is Na Ilu of Tulun, and her brother, captain of the Zavarian, it is Va Torin. Their names are very sing-song and curiously strange to your ear. And the captain, Va Torin, steps forward and offers his hand in a very earthly handshake to the two of you.
Shed crew will look at it. He will reach out and grasp it, and with the forearm grasp, as he's seen men do in the desert. Shake it. He says, "I am Shed Karu. It is a pleasure to meet you, the captain of such a marvelous vessel."
Have you ever flown before?
Um, Not willingly. Had a window a time or two.
Mm.
He gives a grin at that. He says, "But no, I have never flown. I've seen a vessel like this soar through the skies, but it intrigues me."
Well, we'll keep it quite gentle for you. We are not bound for raw proper, as we've learned our lesson. My people and several tradesmen have learned our lesson not to darken their skies.
It is understandable. We do not ask you to violate any laws or to go anywhere that you are not comfortable to. Just, if possible, to get us as close to Ra as we can. We will venture forth from there as best we can.
I'm certain that I can get you within a small boat trip's distance. You'll be just fine.
Then I very much appreciate you, sir. And I'll look over at Yarrow. My friend Yarrow here has a longing to see those lands.
Yarrow, of course, everything's kind of half sluggish right now. He'd give a bow and actually, I wonder. Let's see, what the heck is my conditioning at? We'll take that. 18 on a conditioning to kind of power himself through to come up upright to properly shake this man's hand.
You didn't need to roll for it. You can do that by yourself. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I'd done the whole like half past dead tired, and sometimes it takes a willful effort to get to that point. So
You're fine.
but yeah,
But go for it.
I was gonna say no. You'll see Yarrow kind of. He's gonna like manually straighten himself out and greet the captain. He just won't say a whole lot.
Mm. Well, since I don't do this for free, nor do I do this lightly, I'm assuming that you have coin for the journey.
We do. Shed Crew will actually produce the gold coin. Would this be sufficient for passage?
Who else is coming?
Just the two of us. I mean, if you wish to, allow us the difference in return, I would very much, well, I would be appreciative if you would give us the difference in return, as we'll need funds from beyond your travels. If you have it.
He takes the gold coin from you if you give it to him, but he just look at it and he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to need to make change."
That can be that's understandable. Shall I go with you, sir? And we can take care of this.
I will send somebody for Lotan. He is our quartermaster, as well as he is the merchant officer for this voyage. He sends one of the 6 guards back aboard the vessel, and another individual comes back with him. This guy stands out to you specifically, Shed. His head is shaved. He is maybe he's quite significantly older than you. You can tell.
Okay.
Like I said, his head is shaved. He's got lines of age upon him. He wears robes that are teal, gold, and with accents of violet in there. So his robes are kind of flowering and vibrant in a way. And as soon as you actually saw him actually step off of the gangplank, your mystic sight there basically flared to life, and the that pressure in the center of your forehead has become very hot and very pressing. As this guy gets closer and closer to you, that wave of pressure walks over you, or actually washes over you, when he stands before you and he says, "There's coin here that needs to be divided." He has a very soft but authoritative tone. It's pretty obvious this guy is a magician as well.
I'll Shed will sort of do a half bow to him. Yes, yes, Master Lotan. There is coin that needs to be changed. We myself and my companion wish passage, and I only unfortunately have a single gold coin.
That's a lot of money not to have it divided up.
It is, but the gods have blessed me as such.
Well, that's good to hear. Uh, the captain would have given the coin back to you. Lotan comes by and he
Okay.
offers his hand.
I'll hold it out to him and show it to him. Shall we divide this, good sir?
Yeah, he'll take the coin and he'll bring out a coffer and set it down on a side table for you, and he'll actually uh he has what looks to be like this little octagonal plate that he sets on the table, and he brings it out of like a very voluminous pocket, sits there, and then he puts the coin on it, and some symbols appear on a face of this plate, and he begins like dividing it and the additional silver coins that are, some are minted in a really strange pattern, some are octagonal, some are actually triangular, some are circular with a hole cut in it, some are circular and not. And he brings out a small silver brick. It's actually silver bullion.
Mm-hmm.
And he sets the bullion aside, and when he does this, you feel like the pressure of this guy weighing upon you. And he punches maybe some of these more of these symbols appear and disappear. He moves things around, and he moves the brick of bullion and 6 additional coins off to the side, and he pockets the rest of it, including that whatever the hell that device was, back into a pocket. And he goes, "Would you like the bullion broken as well?"
Oh no, that won't be necessary. I'll reach over and pick it up. How heavy is it?
That's
Is it good?
that's that is a good size of money right there.
Okay, probably yes.
In perspective, now I've tried my best to do the math of like how the ancient Greeks did talents of silver and what
Right.
that actually fucking means. Like a talent of silver is like 100 pounds of just metal.
Yes, it's a huge
That is
amount.
that is a lot. And a ship, like a trireme of the line, is like 35,000 talents,
Sounds about right.
when an ounce of silver today is like 35 bucks American. So I have
Right.
no culture. He just, you have a brick of bullion there
Okay.
and like 6 additional coins,
Okay.
but that is more money you've seen in one spot in a very long time, especially just in silver.
That is true. So, Shed will take the bullion and
It looks like a
he'll actually
rock.
he'll actually wrap it in the uh he'll wrap it in the toga and put it back in his knapsack, if you will, that he has put together of this blanket, and the pieces of silver, put those in his pouch. And he'll say, what time are we leaving? What time do we sail
This evening,
this evening? Yeah.
as Vatarin cuts in.
Mhm.
Lotan has some errands to do in the marketplace and acquire additional supplies for us, because we are bound for Tulun after this, after we drop you off.
I would love to see the wonders of your wow. I would love to see the wonders of your homeland someday, but I think And myself and Yara will be going into the marketplace as well to buy a few things before we sail as well. Does it get cold? I know I've heard. I don't know if it gets cold in above when you fly or not. I know I have heard tales that when one goes high into the hills, it can become colder. Should we get warm clothing?
We will not be that high up.
Ah, all right. Then we shall arrive back here before sundown.
All right. So the group disperses.
Uh-huh.
Three parties disperse. Lotan takes three of the guards with him.
Mhm.
Actually, well, three of the guards and Thalen goes with Lotan. The two of you are left there at the dock, and the rest return to the ship.
Okay. So, Jarl, shall we go into town or go into the market and get a few things, some clothing, maybe some good food for you, maybe some medicines? I mean, things might help. I know the illness you have is not of the natural sort; it is a curse, but we might find things that might be able to assist this.
Food. I would really like a weapon again.
Hmm.
Were we ever told how do we procure a weapon? I know we can't carry one within the limits except for the knife they gave us. But how do we procure one for if we're leaving?
Um, you don't. uh, the arms for the city are wielded by the military. And if you're a tradesman or a traveler, they normally have your shit locked up until you leave.
Right.
It's one of their local laws. But if you guys don't have weapons initially, then they're not going to sell you any.
Okay.
Okay.
Part of the probably the few reasons why the streets are so damn clean.
Fair enough.
Could be.
Now that dagger that they give
something.
you is not. It's not a. It's not a poorly weapon. They give you a dagger, a fey iron dagger. Like it's something.
Okay.
But people are outside shivving each other for kicks, though, either. So.
No, because the watch will destroy you.
Right.
Yeah, facing a man clad in metal with nothing but a knife, no matter how pretty the knife is. Yeah. Most people are smart enough not to do that.
And again, it seems more or less a cultural thing.
Okay.
Like they almost had to give you kind of a maybe like an earth analogy. The people of Yitambrethal almost have a Japanese approach to carrying arms and armor. There are no wandering samurai here. There's no reason for commoners to have weapons on them. Of course, I mean, in every society, you're going to have people who create improvised weapons of that sort, but it's not. That is not going to save you against somebody who's clad head to toe in fey iron.
Is there well, obviously, since all we have is the clothes on our backs, effectively, and a few small things. I say we take some of this silver and get ourselves a couple of changes of clothes, some basic supplies we might need, and like obviously the herbs and such for poultices. We may need them in the future, and maybe a nice meal since Yaro's not feeling. Maybe a massage. I don't know if they have such of a thing. That might help you out, my friend.
You have a brick of bullion. Yeah. You could have an awesome time on the town.
We could, but we still want to get back some money to make sure we don't, So I guess one of the first things we'll probably go to is a reputable money changer. Does the government regulate those by chance?
Nah, he's the same as the bastard I was in Soltage. No.
Okay, you never know. But
No, this was originally a rags to riches game. The suck has passed.
Okay. So we'll
So
get that turned into coinage.
The reputable money changer just left.
Ah, well, darn.
So you could follow Lotan into the marketplace and say, "Oh, we gotta stop meeting like this." Ha ha ha. Hey, can you actually? We're gonna go do some shopping. Can you change this for me again?
Right.
And he would probably happily do that.
We made a mistake. Can you actually break up the bullying, please?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I guess go ahead and do that.
All right.
So just apologize profusely and say, we did not realize we need things beyond this. So, but yes.
Thalen just laughs. He laughs at you. Lotan gets the joke, but Lotan has to translate the situation to the guards, and they just go, they shrug, and they say, one of them says something in a language you don't understand, and Lotan says, yeah, no, Torrent says that's a lot of money. You can't walk around with that kind of money.
Agreed.
Doesn't matter how safe this place is. And he changes it for you. There's 87 silver there down for you.
Okay. In that case, I will give Yarrow half of that, roughly. So 43 pieces or 44 pieces. I'll give 44 pieces.
You can buy a suit of armor like that right now.
Which, like, as this happens, Yarrow, even through his sluggish head, he's doing the math. And it's like, this only cost us 7 silver to get on that boat.
Yeah.
Like, keep in mind, before this, he was used to Soltage being like, yeah, it's going to be 40 silver
gold
to walk out the damn dock.
Yeah, 30 gold to dock.
And that was on a normal ship. This is on some strange silver bird thing, and it's 7. He's like, all right, what the hell?
Yeah, well,
like in his head, he's like, all right, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, very much. If you talk about it,
maybe an undercurrent of, I hope that guy got everything that was coming to him.
Oh yeah,
and those white skinned foreigners got his goose and then some.
So
damn him.
So
no, I was waiting for somebody to do the math. Yeah.
So we'll stay somewhat, I guess, probably near these guys, not actually like up their skirts per se, but obviously having some guards nearby wouldn't be a bad thing. I even suggest that to Yarrow.
I figure we'll probably stick around until we veer off to get food or whatever we're going to get. So.
Yeah, the massage.
Lotan is more than willing to chat with the two of you as you guys are going around. He's getting a lot of freight in that in the form of textiles, foodstuffs, more preservable foodstuffs, dried meats, dried fishes, and such like. There is a cargo of rubies that he is trading to the people of Yitambrethal for tools and repair and just building materials of all kinds. No slaves, no none of that. And it's one of the merchants asked him, well, do you want laborers? No, we have plenty of that at home. And one of actually Thalen translates to one of the guardsmen, and he just kind of like crinkles his nose in disgust, and you hear the word blackbirder, which is just not a nice thing to say. No. But after that, you guys can veer off to eat and have your montage of where you guys want to go, and I'll let you guys narrate that.
So Shed's goal is to first off get a few things, get a few sets of clothes. Obviously, do they have any like large like robes like he would be used to wearing? Or is the clothing here very much different?
You could probably find a native merchant that allow you to
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to get the clothing I'm used to wearing. I'm also going to get a haircut. Get my
It'll be
hair.
green though. A lot of shit over here
That's
in
fine.
Yitambrethal is actually green.
That's
A lot of their
green is okay.
heraldry is green.
Yeah, so green is fine.
I
He'll
don't have red up today because of Carnage.
yeah.
Mm.
So he'll get a set of green robes to wear. Something, a haircut, something to actually cover his head since he lost his usual head coverings. Um, have a nice meal, and he'll get a massage because why not? You know, going for Yarrow too specifically. Probably one with like some perfumed oils and stuff. You know, so go to a spa for an hour. How about that? Let's
Right.
just put it that way. If they have like a
Because
spa,
why not?
just why not? You
Yes.
can,
We're gonna
Um,
go fly on something that we don't know if we're gonna survive the trip. Why not?
yeah, and we've not had this opportunity before. So to
In
actually be
any
properly,
campaign, really.
yeah, to properly be taking, well,
Well, I mean,
we
Yara
haven't. I have.
specifically
I
went
suppose,
from
yeah.
cannibal to naked with the witchy woman, and now he's going
Yeah.
to go to a spa.
Yes.
So
Um,
he is truly rich right now.
yes. And spend the afternoon possibly sitting at some seaside cafe nibbling on cheeses
My
or
God.
something pleasant. Not to the point, and drinking wine, not to the point we get it fully inebriated, but just having a pleasant afternoon. So
When we go to this cafe or the inn or whatever, I'm going to get Nara.
You're
I'm
gonna
going to have
get him.
Nara. I'm going to have Nara join us,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to play one last night.
Oh my
And
gosh.
halfway because he's sluggish in the head anyway, but also because he's probably never going to see this man again. He's going to actually lose more than he wins.
Mm. Okay.
Basically, basically, it's one of the whole we're heading off. Good luck, but it's also going to be he's going to lose in the way that it's supposed to teach Nara how to be better.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
But he's going to make
But
it so Nara actually comes out on top on the third night.
nice. All right. So with that, that evening, you board the vessel, the Zavarian. The phenomenon of flying is strange. Once you leave the waves and actually get up beyond the clouds, yeah, the temperature drops, but not unpleasantly on a day like this. Uh, you'll notice in part of the floor, it's got kind of I feel like a crystal or glass floor, and there is a sail, a double sail, that actually folds out beneath the Zavarian. Just like there's a pair of lateen sails above, scaled and or feathery sails above, just like below. So it's kind of got this wing kind of shape, an inverted wing. And once you get up there above the clouds, um, it's like you just drift, but there's no tidal drift, so to speak. And you guys make damn good time. The miracle and you're like a god right now, uh, sailing or floating on what Lotan describes as the energy of light. The he says what he actually says is the gaze of Zabraxian allows us to harness that sorcery and actually drift as one would on a water going vessel. You're up in the clouds for a matter of hours, and then you're let down on a you're actually coming down beneath the clouds at this point, and you actually see the sea and the islands beneath. It's actually beautiful. It's actually rather breathtaking from this view. And then the captain, Va Torin, says, would you prefer to be dropped off on an island, or perhaps I will do you one better. Perhaps we'll set you down in the desert, in a safe place in the desert, of course. I wouldn't drop you anywhere, just anywhere.
To see the sands once again. Yara, would you mind if he set us down in the desert? I would love to have my feet in those sands once more.
Yes, because I am tired of islands for a little bit.
I think yes. I think I agree. Yes, Captain. If you would please place us in the desert near an oasis if need be. We can make our way from there.
He crinkles his nose in mock disgust, and he goes, "You're not even going to beg? Oh,
Oh, you wish us to beg?
just for a moment."
I'll actually, Shed will actually step back and bow very, very deeply and says, oh, please, wonderful captain, what do you see within your heart to put us poor travelers upon firm land, not on some island jutting up out of the water where we have had so much misfortune, but firmly upon the sands. I beg of you by all the gods above and below that you do this for us.
He smiles from ear to ear, rolls his eyes. He goes, "All right, you can stop now. You're embarrassing me."
Okay. But I have a coin for you, sir, and pull out a silver coin.
You've
Even a
already
bribe.
paid me quite enough.
Where's
Yes,
the acquirer when you need him?
This is a bribe to... Okay, fine. He'll put it back in
Bribe,
his purse.
yes, excellent.
Thank you
A
very
few-
much, Captain. You are a gentleman and a scholar.
They set you down. Lotan
But-
goes ahead. Oh shit!
Well-
Actually, that's a crit fail. Holy shit.
We crash.
Oh my god. No.
But
Fuck.
Tuck and roll, guys. Tuck and roll.
Oh.
And
Everyone
we all die.
dies. Yeah. God damn it. No. 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 They actually will. Hey, they're not from here. They're sailing. They're
Yeah.
going to a place they're not familiar from.
They landed raw accidentally.
No, no,
We
not
will all
Moss
die if
Isley
that's-
proper. No. They drop you off on the beach, 3 chains north of Ra, in the middle of fucking nowhere. And yes, that's where. He just said he wasn't going to drop you just anywhere, but apparently that's how it ended up.
Yeah, he got lost.
There is well, shit, I just rolled that's actually that's beautiful. From the southeast, there is a hurricane brewing. That is why you guys are blown off course. Okay. Perfect. There we go. I just rolled for weather.
Oh, there you go. So, all right.
Did you enjoy those?
here or
I'm
nowhere.
glad I got these weather dice. Anyway, you guys are they don't leave. They set you down. They say their goodbyes, and Lotan gives Shed Karu a ring that's made of a strange black metal, with markings in it that you don't quite understand. He goes, "I think you should have this on your travels."
Is it a token of? I mean, is it some kind of magical device? He'll hold it up and look at it. Protection, possibly.
Put it on, and you will see. I will leave the rest of the surprises for you.
Okay, he'll put it on. Does it disappear?
No.
Okay.
Which finger do you put it on?
Right hand ring finger.
right? It's too damn big for the ring finger.
Okay. He'll put it on the thumb, or try to put it on the thumb then.
Yeah, you can put it on your thumb. It looks
Okay.
like it'll fit on your thumb or your index finger or maybe even
Okay.
your middle finger.
Okay. He'll see which one it fits best on his hand, and that's what he'll put on, possibly his index finger. Okay.
Uh, it possibly might be probably design wise, it looks like it could possibly be a signet ring of some kind. But
Nah.
you don't understand the
Yeah.
symbols of on it.
Okay. Well, I am honored. Um, I wish I had something I could possibly give to you that would be of equal value.
Perhaps our paths will cross and we can exchange gifts again.
Yes. Perhaps I can come and see your wonderful homeland someday.
Perhaps.
Uh, uh, fair winds and you know, fair winds and sweet water to you.
He bows to you and he leaves. There seems to be a in Lotan's presence there seems to be a somewhat like a telepathic link between the two of you. He's never spoken into your mind, but you can tell that there was a presence there.
Okay.
But when he does leave and the ship does depart and leaving you two, you do see at the southeast those dark clouds forming. That connection dissipates until you see that ship disappear into the sky.
One of the last
Very
things he'll
quickly.
do before that happens, he'll send a message, using whisper on the wind, to Lotan. I'll say, "Fair sailing, sir. Fair sailing," and just send that as a last sort of parting thing.
Okay.
Then I'll look at Yarn and says, "I think we need to find shelter. If that's coming this way, point toward the storm, and start heading along the coast, so we can find ourselves a fishing settlement or something."
You do find one.
Okay.
Half of it is carved into the caves. Seems to be their regular shelter from the storms.
Okay.
They are dry, sandy caves that you find that don't flood. Actually, the way they designed, they don't flood, but
Wonderful.
in places they do capture the fresh water there for drinking purposes here. You're able to stay with them for 3 days.
All right.
They are native people. They are your people. They are
Yay,
Yaith.
finally. All right. Yes, my native language with my native accent of all things. I tell them tales of the
with the sing-song accents and languages from the past however long. It's nice to hear your own language again.
It definitely is. Nice to hear the native tongue spoken. We'll regale them with tales of high adventure, as it were, of places we have been and things we have seen and done. The fact we have flown upon a flying boat.
They laugh at that. They are very podunk people.
We have seen a far off city where the guards dress in a metal that reflects the sun, and I'll actually show them with the knife. Whole suits of this stuff, and things like that. Then of course I tell them the horrors of the cat-eyed sailors who wear armor of black metal, and how they destroyed Soltage, just as if on a whim, taking some of those who were trying to flee them, slaying others. Did not seem to have any rhyme or reason for which one they chose and which ones they let live, which ones they took with them, and things of that nature. So just sort of tales.
Okay.
And so, and then on the third day, I'm going to see if the day. Well, Jaro, can you handle a boat?
Define handle a boat. Like
As in, do you have sailing of any kind?
I don't think I do.
Okay. Do they have by chance camels we could buy here?
Uh, yes.
Okay. How much do they want for the camels? For 2 of them.
For 2 camels,
Mm-hmm.
12 silver.
Okay.
2 bull camels.
I'll tell them I will give them 15 silver for 2 camels, their riding gear, and enough water to get to Ra.
Okay.
Okay. So I will give them 15 silver. Let me see.
Oh,
All right.
I probably should have mentioned this before, but the Thoranean sailors would have given you both uh, a good curved scimitar for your travels,
Oh, okay.
made of bronze, so you guys are armed.
Okay. Okay. It's
For
not
Clark
unknown to
Ashton
me.
Smith.
Would that be considered a long blade or a short blade?
That'd be those are long blades.
Okay.
Short blades are daggers. Swords are long blades.
I will thank them very much for that, but I will ask them if they have by chance a stout wooden pole.
They give you
Well,
scimitars.
okay, fine. I will ask the people here if they by chance have a stout wooden pole.
Again, someone give you a stick, sure, yeah.
That'll work. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Something to help my travels with. So I'll have the scimitar and a wooden stick / staff. It's the idea. He's more comfortable with that than he is an actual sword, but he'll keep it. You never know when a good scimitar might come in handy. So on the 3rd day, I suppose, unless Yarrow has anything to add, we'll take our leave at the dawn and start heading towards Ra.
No, the thing with Yarrow is, every day that passes, he's probably getting a little more agitated and irritated and looks more and more like complete crap again.
Yeah.
For
I'm sure
each
we couldn't
day
leave.
you delay, you'll get a -1 until you expire.
Okay. Well, we can leave in the middle of the hurricane. I'm assuming that 3 days is because of the hurricane, right?
It's up to you.
Oh, well, in that case, we wouldn't wait 3 days then.
Okay.
How long did the hurricane last?
3 days.
Oh, well. We wouldn't want to leave during a hurricane, probably. Probably
Well,
wouldn't be safe. Unless Yarrow insists. So if it gets to the point where we have to and the choice is do or don't, then we will leave
Okay.
early.
Okay. I'm going to split hairs for a second. What category hurricane are we talking about here? Because I've lived in Florida. I've dealt with them. I know what you can kind of travel and what you're not supposed to.
Oh my God! What category 5 is the worst, right?
5 is the worst one. Yes. That's basically shit will come off foundations and fly around the environment.
This is not Hurricane Katrina. Let me put it that way.
Okay, that was a 4.
That was actually a 4?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was actually a 4. She was a 5 when she was out in the Caribbean, and once she hit landfall, she went to a 4. I know. I was there for that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I was actually in Louisiana, right above Lake Ponchatoula.
So the water was right here.
In some places, it was. Yeah. People were lining up down the street to get a gallon of gas that I swear to God cost $7 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
This is back in 2004.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was a great week. I got to drink rum and tell stories for a whole week with no power.
Yeah, that's what you do.
But still, because I do have sea lore, he does have traveling. I mean,
okay.
From a player perspective, I know technically you could probably travel like a Cat 2 and not be in tremendous pain unless something happens to get in your way. On foot, primitive conditions, it's kind of up in the air what we know and what we don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so
Yarrow is
if
not going
it's
to
not it's not a
sacrifice his.
it's not a cat 5. All right,
Yeah.
we'll put it
Okay.
that way. We'll say
Okay, Rafe, if this helps, Yarrow is
uh,
not going to put his physical well-being if he sees that it's too dangerous. He wants to
Yeah.
go,
yes.
but he's not going to kill himself trying to get there before
Yeah.
it needs to be done.
Unless it
all right, well,
absolutely has to.
Yeah, like if he looks outside and says, "Oh, it's not as bad as it could be," they might try making a break for it.
Yeah.
okay.
I know it's
We'll
kind of
say
technicality, so
we'll say it look from the shore, I suppose it looks pretty damn bad.
yeah.
But as soon as it like gets to the coastline, it probably to say a hurricane mellows out is kind of
But it does.
I suppose if
Yeah.
you
It's
really
actually what it does.
Yeah.
It will literally be like Hurricane 4 when it hits like Cuba, and when it
Okay.
hits Florida and actually hits the landfall, it will actually dissipate and get categorized
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, into a tropical
I
storm, which is just
I
literally just heavy rain.
I
So,
would say maybe if you want to say between 2 and 3.
okay. Yeah.
If you really want to be that
Yeah.
way, it probably it'll
Yeah.
vacillate
Yeah.
between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely after the first day of landfall, it'll probably drop to a tropical storm then. That's usually what happens. They dissipate very quickly when they
Yeah.
hit land.
So
Okay.
sorry,
So-
technicality and splitting hairs aside. Yes, as soon as it
Meteorology.
is,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
right.
it,
As
it,
soon as it is clear enough, Yarrow is going to
Yeah.
want to get a camel and get the hell out of
And
Dallas.
we'll do that. So
Which
yeah.
which way is the gayest pointing him? Is it still toward what he knows to be where Ra is, or is it pointing him off somewhere else?
as soon as you guys got to the mainland and you're actually north of Ra, it's actually north still. It's actually pointing you away from the city.
Okay, you go that way. Whichever way you're going, you lead the way. I will follow.
Right. Which, like,
So-
Yarrow will see that. I was like, oh, I guess it's not there.
Just somewhere nearby.
I guess
So-
so.
You hope so.
Yeah, right. But how this thing's
Uh,
making me feel, it better be.
Okay. Would you reluctant just to do traveling checks?
Would you like to?
I would love to.
That's
I
up
would
to
like it to
you.
just I would like it to just be given to me, but I'll do it.
Well, nothing
Technically, you guys don't know where you're going. Rules as written, you should not be allowed to, but I'll let you.
Well, we know where we're going because the gas. We just don't know
no,
what's
it
there.
is.
We just don't know what's there.
That's not how that works. We're doing from
Okay.
point A to point B. You don't know shortcuts between an unknown point.
Okay.
So, if you would like to, go for it.
Okay. Well, if it's not going to hell, I'm not worried about it.
Well, you brought it up. Roll for it.
Well, okay. I got a 14. So
All right. Yeah.
17 with the penalty.
With the penalty. Okay.
With the penalty. I
Okay.
got 7 and an 8 again.
There you go.
It's one so close to just crit for me.
I
but it
rolled a
doesn't
5
want to
and a
do it.
6. So
Sweet. Do you guys have grades in traveling, or are you also
Yes.
putting in the non-proficient penalty
no,
there too?
Nope,
I have grades.
You have grades.
In
Okay,
fact,
Yep.
I have a
You got a forte in it.
forte in it. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, desperation improves, or say breeds proficiency. You are traveling with some due haste inland. It actually turns very green very quickly. Stay away from the water because you don't want to tangle with any crocodiles because the crocodiles will fucking eat you.
Yes.
Now the sand of the beach becomes green verdure so long as you stay in like that what essentially equates to the The Green Quarter is essentially Arklanar's version of the Nile River Valley. But instead of a long, narrow valley, it is a very wide river with an even wider green passageway. That's why it's called the Green Corridor that goes from the coast to the inland sea. And it is swampy and leafy all the way up. So traveling through take a few days. You find yourselves in the higher hinterland. There are bandits here. A lot of the villages in and around this area, they are pockets of small civilization, mostly in like a Stone Age type of theme here. And with their farms or their agriculture is more or less very large gardens that are replenished several times per season, as Arklanar seasons are extremely long. And seasonally, bandits and brigands of all kinds, all cultures and stripe, raid many of these gardens, and you're able to dodge quite a bit of this. You find yourselves in peril a handful of times, but all in all, it is a treacherous yet taxing trip to finally get to the rocky highlands beyond. The scroll in Yara's possession thrums, not audibly, but in his mind. And there is a supernatural pressure that it's almost like someone think of it as a great serpent, a cobra perhaps, staring you right here. Its eyes are right here looking at you, dogging you, pressing you on, and you're going to need to make another life force test as that dark presence attempts to accost you further.
Which, like, as he like feels and or hears this in his head, he's just gonna kind of like say it back to like, I'm trying. All right, I'm trying here. How many days has it been?
2 so far, only 2.
2 there, so 6. So 12 with the penalty.
Okay. Right. You're able to stave off much of that presence, but you'll take on 1 point of temporary shadow sickness there, as the hiss of the cobra in your ear that evening, unfortunately, does not let you drift off to sleep as comfortably as you like. The next morning, you press on. We're going to say 2 more days, so additionally 4 in total. It weighs upon you. It taxes you in almost a vampiric-like presence. It is now starting to affect Shed. The closer you guys get to wherever the hell you're going, you feel snakes. Yeah, there's always a snake in the grass, it seems. Whether it's there or not, or maybe it's a trick in the back of your mind, you don't know. But it's that accursed scroll.
At some point, Shed, seeing that Yarrow is starting to wane a bit, will actually ask if it might be maybe he should carry the scroll for a bit and see if it helps. See if it at least staves off the drain. Maybe he can resist it better. Possibly, he has no idea.
I just have Golem vibes going through my head now.
I can't carry it, Mr. Frodo, but I can carry you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you
So
could, but
I
that's
think
what the
no,
camel's for.
you will
Um,
not.
okay.
The scroll will not let you.
I was
Oh,
gonna say
okay.
I
Worth a
figured
try.
Yarrow would probably try, but it would just be right back on his person.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Well, it'd be worth. Yeah. So it'd be worth it. We'd probably try it once or twice at least during the
you try
process.
handing the scroll over, and as soon as it leaves your hand, it appears in Yarrow's belt again.
It's all right, Shed. It's all right.
Okay. Just keep following it, whichever way it goes. Hopefully, we're not far now. Hopefully.
Start making noise in my head, so we gotta be getting close.
What kind of noise?
Snakes hissing.
Okay. Not making esoteric knowledge on that.
Sure.
Okay.
Uh, in addition to the snakes in the grass motif, I'm assuming he's
That
seen other visages as well. Yarrow is.
You seem
21,
to
by the way.
find an Ophidian signature to almost everything now.
Yeah, it's 21 on esoteric knowledge.
Okay.
So, any
And
information?
it's just a powerful Gaius that's starting to get to him.
Okay. All right. All
If
right.
he can't complete it, he'll die.
So then let's,
The,
yeah, we'll
the,
be pushing as hard as we can then.
the at one point, probably just to keep himself awake, he'd be like, "Do you know anything? Why are we seeing statues?
Statues. I
Snakes
don't
and
know.
statues.
Snakes and
Statues.
statues. Would that be academics? If I've heard anything that associates snakes and statues, maybe?
Nope.
Or maybe there's a god involved somewhere?
Not that you're aware of.
Okay. The only thing I can think of that might even be close to that probably would be Set, but that's not even. I mean, maybe I don't know. He'll start throwing off ideas. So just basically to keep Yarrow talking, so he doesn't feel as hopefully it was worn down as he realizes make time pass. So just different things.
Okay. You have been on the road now. This is the fifth morning. You leave the green verdure of the basin. You find yourselves in the Rocky Highlands, and in a kind of a windswept, secluded corner of these crags, you find yourselves on a somewhat risen sand dune, and you look out across a valley between the great sand dunes, and you look beyond this current scene, and it's just a beautiful sandy sea, just like the movie Dune. Oh, that beautiful desert. But beneath you and to the northeast, there is a cluster of um, wagons as well as tents, like 30 or 40 tents. There are figures in and amongst them, going about what seems to be their daily routines. Some of the what you assume to be adults are armed. There are a few sentries standing on top of these wagons. A few of them are kind of like patrolling the dunes off off in various directions in pairs, twos and threes, excuse me, and it's like they seem like women and children. Many families are here, going about their day. Um, you get the feeling quite a few of these people are really on edge or very very vigilant. Some of the sentries are very heavily armed and armored. Uh, it also seems that hoods are very much in fashion here, which is not. I mean, it's hot. The sun is out. The rays of Zabraxian will cook somebody, but they're always very dark hoods. These people have to be baking under those hoods. I mean, Shed Karu wears it himself, wears a turban, but still. How do you wish to proceed?
Warily.
Yes, as
Yarrow
well you
is
should.
Yarrow is probably half slumped over his freaking saddle or whatnot on this camel, half over the hump or whatever.
Yeah, Shed at this point is probably leading his camel. I'm willing to bet. Um, he'll speak back to Yarrow. There seems to be a group of travelers here. Maybe they'll know something about these snakes and statues you're talking about, or at least maybe where this thing may be leading us, or what could be around here. It could be leading us, be led to.
Is the scroll doing anything new since we're so close?
Actually burns your skin as you're getting close to it. It probably this is where you're supposed to be, and it's probably making it very obvious.
Is it like, okay, you said burn the skin. Is it actually like affecting the scroll, or is the flower still okay?
It's hot to the touch. It's not like on fire, but it seems itself is intact.
If he opened it up, because he's like, this is getting hot, flowers wilt. If he opens it up, is the flower still fine?
If you can stand opening the scroll, yes, you'll see that the flower is fine.
Okay. Yeah, he'll do that for the couple seconds he needs to. And then he'll actually roll it back up and actually put it in his pouch or sash or whatnot. So it's not touching bare skin anymore.
Okay. Well, then let's take this thing to these people and get this curse lifted from you. I hope they'll understand. Maybe they won't kill us. And he'll head down the dune toward this group of people very openly, not trying to hide or be, he'll be approaching very openly and actually hands where they can be visible.
Or very, very visible hands. We're not.
Right.
We come in peace.
Yeah.
Well, you come very openly. There's an alarm is sounded, and like 6 outriders come out to meet you.
Okay. As they get close enough to see me well, I'm taking that scimitar and I'm taking it off where I have it tied up at, and I'm actually going to throw it in its sheath down ahead of us to show them I'm disarming myself. So, sign of peace, basically.
Okay. All right. They get about 30 feet away from you, all 6 of them. Some of them are armed with bows. Others are armed with broadswords, such like. Some of the sentries in the encampment, they do cover you with their bows as well. And they're all wearing white masks, like white, like faceless in a way where there's like 2 eyes and maybe like a slit for a mouth and nose, but actually two points for the nose and then a slit for the mouth. So all this it hides the expression very well, but there seems like this black cloth underneath the masks. You actually can't see eyes underneath the mask, just black. So again, also incredibly unsettling.
Okay. Being from around here, have I ever heard of these people? Is this like a tribe I may have heard of, or a?
No, I'm gonna say these guys are pretty
Okay.
pretty secretive.
Okay. I'll have my hands, of course, up, and so they can see my hands. And see, my friend is beset by a curse and has been tasked with delivering a scroll here to someone.
Let's see, how did they actually reply to that? All right. Like the silence, you see, after a very pregnant silence there, well, they'll a few of them, not all of them, will actually look at Yarrow and they'll actually match the language. I'm assuming Shed is speaking Yath.
Yes.
Okay. One of them replies, matching the language. What is the nature of this curse?
I'll look at Yarrow. Or can you speak, my friend?
He's it's kind of slow speech. Like he has to actually belabor each word probably at this time. And he's gonna take it and he's gonna like grimace with the pain from it because it's hot. But he's just gonna say Black Lotus.
That's all you say.
It's pretty much all he can get out right now, probably.
All right.
Like I imagine at this time he is very much having to manually force most bodily functions.
Okay. One of them leaves the group, goes back into the encampment, and a short time later, he brings back another individual who brings like 12 more of these warriors with him. This in one individual, she just obviously commands quite a bit of respect here. Clad in a bronze breastplate, enameled with red, black, and yellow scales on it. Very Ophidian, very snake-like. His greaves are also matching. He has a bronze tulwar on his hip, and he walks out to you with the stride of someone in an authoritative position. He has a helmet on his head that it almost somewhat resembles almost a Greek Corinthian style helmet, but like the face plate is gone and actually replaced with um, that mask. And he takes his helmet off, and as well as the mask. He brings the mask down, and you see what would be a mortal human's face with snake features. Like his nose is quite abbreviated. It's not, he is not unhandsome, but his eyes are not people eyes. Those are the eyes of a cobra.
Alien beauty.
Oh yeah, very very much the alien beauty. And what unfolds from the back of his head is a nimbus of black snakes for hair. And this just the fucking terror of this man staying, he just strides right up to you like he owns you.
Okay. This is probably going to be, especially in a couple of days, Shed's had to deal with him. Probably be one of Yarrow's few like crystal clear, lucid moments.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's actually going to sit up and he's going to say snakes and statues. Like, and just look at this man.
And he looks magnificent and a terror at the same time.
But like for some reason, in like his head, he's like snakes and statues, and it's his face that like connects the vestiges in his brain.
And in an alien accent in Yaith, he says, "Dismount."
Yarrow will probably with some difficulty holding on to
and
the camel
and
for
and
support.
fall right
Same.
into the sand.
Probably, yeah. Shed'll probably get off his camel and move to check on Yarrow, help him up.
Uh, how quickly does Shed move?
Not like he's gonna make sure he's not like jumping to where he's going to entice anyone to think he's attacking someone, but he's gonna
No sudden movements is what I'm
no
hearing.
sudden movements, hands
Ah,
definitely up. He
okay.
has he takes his walking stick with him, goes over, helps Yarrow up, and places the walking stick in his hand. Hold yourself up, brother. Hold yourself up.
Like
And he'll
leaning on
turn.
the camel, probably.
Yeah.
He's
Out
a
of the corner,
mess. He's a
out of the
mess.
corner of your eye, Shed, you see like one of the bowmen, like he's got the an arrow half drawn.
Shed will say, whatever this malady is that has been placed upon him has been a burden that he has been carrying diligently through much, much hardship to bring here. And I'll look at the man in the eye and say, and we know not why.
The You can only see the serpent-haired chieftain, we'll call him. Uh, is how is Yarrow? Is he sitting? Is he kneeling? Is he leaning
No,
on the staff?
he
What's his
he
posture?
he's probably well. He got up. He's probably got the staff. He's got the staff in one hand, and he's probably like half leaning up against the camel, like one hand like around the hump or
On
whatever, and
it.
like half like leaning and like counterbalancing with the staff so he can stay somewhat upright.
He we'll say the chieftain just standing there with the gaze of a snake, that patient menace, just holds out his hand. Doesn't say a word.
Yara will take the scroll out and he's going to attempt to give it to him, even though he in his brain said in his brain he knows part of it is this is the man who's supposed to get it. The other part of his brain is saying every other time I've lost track of this thing, it's giving it back to me. So it's like not going to believe it till it actually happens. I can get rid of this thing, but yes, he will attempt to put it in the man's hand.
Shed will actually reach over, grab his arm, and help him hold the hand up. In a way, symbolically, both giving it to him, if you want to put it that way.
Uh the chieftain will take the scroll from you, and he'll hold it in his hand there for a moment. He will kind of like half mutter wisp some serpentine utterance. His eyes will flash this almost baleful violet color, and Yarrow is perfectly fine. Everything comes rushing back to you. You feel very light and very lightheaded.
Right, right. Yara will like he'll probably stumble a half step. When he gets himself steadied again and under his 2 feet, he'll give Shed back his staff. But like the one thing you're gonna see is you're gonna see him like look almost expectantly to the hand that held that damn thing for so long, and almost like flex the fingers like it's not coming back. Am I free from this? This is not out loud. This is all in his head. It's like, am I finally free from this? And then he just looks at the chieftain. And he's going to take a second, but he's going to be like, am I done?
He he half turns from you, and he shouts something to which now there's a crowd of people on like the edge of this like tent village there.
Right.
Men, women, children, the warriors, the common people, all of that. Moms holding their babies.
Babas.
They're um Yar you spy a little girl who has fucking snakes for hair, and she has chartreuse colored eyes and kind of like green brown like asps for hair that kind of like weave in and out of her. She actually has tawny like people hair. uh so it's like a mix of both, but and something grabs you deep down, and the chieftain opens the scroll, and he sees the black lotus flower at the bottom there. Just slides down the paper page with the gravity, and he simply states, "Tell me of your journey, and then we'll be done."
Okay.
And with that, we'll go for closing soliloquies on the Sha'ir's poem. Take us away, Yarrow. If you want to do a soliloquy of all of Yarrow's story, including his adventure, you may.
Out of curiosity, when we're doing this, are we doing this right out in the middle of the desert, or is he actually taking
Yes,
us back?
right here,
Right
right
here,
now,
right now? Okay.
in sight of all of his people there. He hasn't looked up at you from the scroll, but he has given you permission to speak.
Yarrow, keep in mind, Yarrow's still getting like all of his cognitives under order again, too. Uh, he'll stand up straight and he'll look at the crowd and he'll catch that little girl. And I don't know if they'll actually hit eyes with each other, but he'll look at her. And he'll look back at the chieftain and began on a boat. Had a crew. I was a medicine man, and we followed the waters. Strange things in the waters, things that no man should have to ever deal with. I got marooned. I got captured. I was almost food. I ran and I ran and I ran some more. Then I found a cave, and there's another man in there. And the cannibals, the captors, tried coming after both of us, and we stood our ground. And he died. And I don't know if he was a wizard of renown, if he was some powerful entity that I had no idea, or if it was that, and he'll actually like he's not gonna like extend his arm, but he'll just like point at the scroll, or if that had its own agenda. But he died. All I saw was fire, and I heard nothing as my ears rang. Then I had that in my hand. And the rest of my life, up until I stand before you now, has been following what that has commanded. I remember finding another cave. I remember finding that flower. I remember I had to be very careful about making sure that flower did not get harmed. And he's actually going to outwardly chuckle at this. He's like, with all the hell I've been through, I'm surprised the thing hasn't been harmed. Got back to Soltage. I met Shed, and he'll give a smile and a nod to Shed. Me and Shed stayed for a couple days, tried to get back on our feet. And then Soltage got ransacked to the ground by the men with the cat eyes. Must have done something right because they gave us warning. I don't know if they liked us or if we were just the lucky ones. But I remember trying to jump for a ship and we missed. And all it was water again. This damned water. I swear I'm going to be fearful of water. It's damn water again. Then we're on the beach. No idea. There was, well, I can only assume, some entity of the crushing depths praying in the water. And I, for some reason, didn't have a shred of clothing on me. Had none of my items on me. All I had was that. And we stumbled. And we stumbled some more. Till we got to a new town. And that was a fantastic town. You've never seen things like such as that town. Everything was emerald and teal, and they didn't try to screw you over in that town, it felt like. Soltage will screw you over. Soltage will screw you over 12 ways from, a chain. That one, not so much. I think I actually would have enjoyed staying there. We were there trying to, once again, get on our feet so I could continue to follow that. And then that's when the dreams start coming in. That's when the fatigue started to set in. Saw a battle. Saw a little girl. And he's actually going to look around the chieftain at that girl with the hair and snakes again. I wasn't there for it, but I saw it like I was. And I'm sorry for your loss. And I hope whatever that took me on helps with that loss. We got passage to get closer here. I've never flown before. Have you ever flown? And he says this, of course, rhetorically, because he's expecting no one to answer. Have you ever flown before? It was weird. It's a big old silver thing, looked like a giant insect almost. And we flew in hours what would probably have taken over a chain. I really hope I can do it again now that I feel better. And then we landed here. Almost got killed by a storm. And then we spent the next over half a chain traveling nonstop to find you. And every day I felt closer and closer to death. And those snakes hissing in my head. And this is where my adventure ends. Standing here before you, free of that. And he almost says it not maliciously, like I'm free of that fucking thing, but it was definitely with like a fervor of I am free. I can now be who I want to be. I am not bound anymore. And I don't know you. I don't know your people. I don't know the situation that came across all this. And I am sorry that we have to intrude in this sort of way. But I do hope this helps. And I do hope this brings peace. And I hope that if and when we leave here and we do meet again, if we meet again, that it is on better terms and maybe we can even tell it again as a story to another generation. But that has been my life. Now, am I done?
It is at this point that the chieftain looks up from the scroll that he has been reading this whole time. He says, "Yes, your contract is fulfilled. My favorite niece will go into the afterlife in peace, and she will not come back as a vengeful spirit." And he turns those menacing snake eyes on you that seem to just root you in place. He says, "You have our thanks." If Shid Karu would like to give a soliloquy here, you may.
So Shed sits there and listens to Yarrow's tale. He thinks to himself, he'll make a marvelous poem or a song, even. Although he would, a little thing in the back of his mind, though, as Yarrow is speaking this, when he hears him talking about how he came across the scroll, he'd heard the tale before. Yarrow had told it many times, but he never really thought about who that person was. Who was this man in a cave being assailed by cannibals who had carried this thing, this scroll, and for how long had he carried it? And his curiosity begins to almost overtake him, but he knows that these people, whoever they are, um, as they just said that Yarrow has their thanks, might actually be willing to tell him that, and he starts to think to himself, this would be an epic tale. This would be some tale that could be told in a tavern, obviously, for a few pints of ale, possibly, or might even be something that the court of a king may actually enjoy hearing. This is, oddly enough, the tale of heroes. Shad's never thought of himself as such. He's always just been a fellow trying to get along and get by, but he thinks back to the other tales he heard at his uncle's knee as he's a child. They would tell him of great heroes who did great things, and they did things like fly upon great birds, which he did. A great bird that flew through the sky of metal with strange golden skinned people from a faraway land. He followed a sea witch to an island and without a thought jumped with his companion through a portal, knowing not where it would go. He evaded an assault by a very powerful foreign navy, if you will, and made his escape with, once again, his friend. He had done many things that he would not have thought as he was doing them as being much of a heroic tale, but he starts to think maybe these heroes of the past were just normal men that were thrown into a situation, that something landed in their lap. and demanded they do something, and they did. So maybe Shed could think of, if not himself as a hero, at least the companion of said hero, that Jarl may be the hero. And Shed is that companion that seems to have the that little bit that gets him through when it's necessary, when it's needed. That bit of wit or that bit of knowledge that get them over the hump and away from the witch or the bandit or the or into the city. But he thinks that once he gets a chance to settle down for a bit, have himself a few cups of the local tea. That is one thing he has been missing, is the local tea. He might begin to write and turn this into a true proper tale, a poem, if you will, or a song. A poem. He likes the idea of a poem.
And with that, we bring the tale of the Sha'ir's poem to an end. Thank you for everybody for staying with us through this epic tale of the 1001 Thoranean Nights, the first tale as a tribute to the Arabian Nights that hopefully I will come back to in the future and add more stories to it. It got pretty 7 voyages of Sinbad there towards the end, which most of us quite literally love. And I've been listening to the 1001 Nights audiobook, and I just finished the 7 voyages of Sinbad just the other day, and yeah, that is some of the pulpiest stuff. I can chew it. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We close another adventure. Much love, everyone. Be safe, be well. Good night.